Hi, how's it going, guys? My name's Andrew Aldape, and based off my last name, I got stuck with Module 2, which is Talk About Theory. And the thing I decided to talk about is actually determinism. So there's a very brief little excerpt, necessarily what they deal with talking about determinism. And so determinism is actually defined in the book as the assumption that behavior is caused by heredity and the environment. So basically, the environment that you were brought up in, as well as your genes, play a role um, in your behavior necessarily. And I mean that makes sense based off of like how you grow up, how the environment that you're raised in, it pretty much lays out the person that you become. And I believe that's accurate as it is. I witnessed it both on the environmental side as well as the heredity side. Your genes do play a fact in how you are as a person. Anyone that can like say no, I wouldn't think they're telling the truth necessarily. So I'm actually the youngest sibling out of three total. So I have two older sisters, and my older sisters are way older than me by around like 17 years or so. I have nephews and nieces, several amounts. One that's like 2 years younger than me apparently, which is kind of crazy still. Um, but it, it it shows in myself. I hear it from people around me that they can easily say that they know that I grew up in a house full of women, which is true. Um, I only had my dad, but I mean my dad's kind of like what set the foundation for me. Pretty much gave me all my masculine side of things. However, I do enjoy being a mama's boy. I'm gonna come out and say that. But I mean, that's just the genes playing in effect. I love uh, being with my mom. I love being. I mean, I wouldn't say like a female. Like that's kind of like odd, but at the same time, like I love the comfort of a female, is what I'm saying. So I love the things that my mom does for me necessarily. To put it in that sense. So genes do play a role. I'm pretty sure you guys hear it too. You guys can say that you hear that you get the characteristics of your mother necessarily. Um, and with that being said as well, heredity has its genes incorporated into that. However, the environment plays a huge role in who you become as well. Given that I do live in the Rio Grande Valley back home, um, it is extremely hard to stay out of trouble if you are necessarily like in the wrong crowd or so. So, being growing up in Westago, if you guys Google that, it's actually I think the top five or something like that. Dangerous cities I think in the United States, which is actually pretty crazy. I never viewed it like that until recently, just hearing that a drug kingpin lived literally right down the street from me. But I never realized that growing up. My parents just kind of kept my attention out of that and always kept my mind like on the positive things such as sports, just keeping me in line, making sure that I never fell into the wrong crowd. And it makes sense because the environment does play a huge role. You can easily get sucked into everything that's going on bad around you, just get caught up into all the drugs that are going in. I mean, obviously, I live like 10 minutes away from the border, so drugs are in and out there all the time. Whether we want to accept that or not, it's the necessary fact. um, so yeah, both of those do play a huge role into how we view our daily lives. Um, but at the same time, I grew up in a great environment where it pushed me to pursue a further education, opposed to like my parents not getting a college degree, my mom not even getting a high school degree. So genes is there, but at the same time, it isn't there. It's the environment that way they choose you to bring yourself upon. In McAllen, I was a student honor roll all the time, and then I moved to Westago. I continued the same path, even though I was in a different environment, and it was a lot more easy. I'm not gonna lie, to get sucked into more of the negative facts, opposed to the positive like abilities of the greater things happen to you, like in McAllen necessarily. So it's quite well known. In conclusion, I can now understand what determinism is, knowing that there's an actual proper vocabulary term for the explanation that I just gave. I actually just told my friend about this right before I did this video. And he's like, I think there's a word for that. I said, yeah, it's determinism. So we both learned something new today. Um, I just believe that genes can make you act to a certain extent. However, the environment does play a role on how you become. So, yeah, thank you guys.